In the farthest, southeastern reaches of Palagos, at the border of the wastes of Murea, is an arid region known as Olamkin. If one follows a certain pathway that winds through the hills and gorges, there comes a location where a palace emerges from the rocky bluffs. This is the seat of Karaq, a lord and wealthy tradesman, master of artifice, and a keeper of the peace in an otherwise savage frontier. Other than the palace's twin towers, only the frontmost entry hall can be seen from the outside. The rest of the dens and corridors lie underground. These passages eventually lead farther downwards, where strange calls echo from the sunless dungeons, where the line between man and monster is tested, where the bowels of the earth itself fume and roil. Here we descend into the acid pits of Karaq. Firelight from a brazier glistens along the blade of the guardsman's poleaxe. His eyes follow the every movement of Eumelia as she approaches the seat of Lord Karaq. She wears a dirtied apron over a blue gown, and her thick braid of hair hangs past her waist. "Good morning, my lord." Eumelia greets Karaq with a kiss to his cheek. He has a tri-pointed beard and is dressed in silk and finely tooled leather, with a circlet upon his brow and a slave girl seated to his side. His two guardsmen wear masked helms. One is a brute with the poleaxe, and the other a squat man holding a crossbow. "Good morning, Eumelia," replies Karaq. "Have you brought the workshop back to good working order after the incident the other day?" A few days ago, a group of 3 burglars snuck their way into the workshop near one of the acid pits. They almost made off with a special prize, but the guardsmen caught them just as they were staging their escape. In the ensuing struggle, there was a dreadful ruckus. "I have restored good order. The intruders spoiled several jars of the substance, though." "The substance?" "Yes, the transmuting draft. This will set us back a couple of months, perhaps more. I won't be able to begin the process on the next warrior until then." "Damn it!" Karaq flings his cup of wine, which smashes into bits on the floor. The slave girl, dressed in only jewelry and a silken shift about her waist, immediately goes to clean the mess. The lord stands, strapping on his sword belt. "Rapaz! Juchi! We're taking the prisoners to the execution pit. Eumelia, tell me the first warrior has finished his formation." "He has, my lord. I gave him his final dose a 10th day ago, and he shows no signs of requiring more, though I meant to speak with you about another matter, whilst I had the opportunity to meet with you today." "And what would that be?" "Seeing as we'll be waiting on the next batch of the substance to ferment, I would very much like your leave to go visit my father in Dulcium." It had been years since Eumelia last saw her dear father. She thought she had almost lost all desire to visit him, but witnessing the clash with the burglars reminded her of the outside world, and of the struggle to obtain that which is most precious. Karaq's cheeks are flush with aggravation, though he seems to consider Eumelia's request. "Your father is a wise man, as true a philosopher as I could expect from a hive like Dulcium. But I think it is best you remain here. There is much for you to oversee in the workshop." Please reconsider, my lord. My father has been sick for some time.
Don't ply me for sympathies, Eumelia. Especially not today. Perhaps I'll give you leave next year.
Next year? Please, it would break my heart to think of him passing into the beyond before I had a chance to see him, to give him my love.
Karaq steps down from his dais, guardsmen at his sides. I have tasted your love many times. Your father's not missing out on that much.
Eumelia cringes. She feels the flask of volatile acid stowed in her apron. Her mind burns with the image of smashing it open upon Karaq's face. You! She imagines what the two guardsmen would do to her if she struck down Lord Karaq, especially the big one with the poleaxe. You! Karaq walks within mere inches of Eumelia.
Me? What?
Eumelia grinds her reply into nothing before it escapes her lips.
You are not some squalling brat. You are the mistress of alchemy, a lady of the palace of Karaq. Act like it.
Eumelia takes out her silver mask and places it over her face. She fights back the tears stinging her eyes and speaks in a firm voice. As my lord says. With that, she takes her leave. Wake up, you shits! The voice of the jailer jolts Kaiamon to consciousness. I said wake up! Kaiamon tries to curse at the shouting man, but realizes the cloth gag is still about his mouth. He sits up, which is also a challenge, as his hands are bound. His stomach growls, hoping for a meal. The jailer unlocks the cell door and pulls Kaiamon out. Within the dim light of the dungeon, he sees his comrade, Armazu. They are both Kashari, men from a far southern land known as Ohmte, whose skins are like earth and clay and honey. Their linen garments are stained and torn, and they are weary from the days they have spent on the dank stone floors. Near to Armazu is Lord Karaq, with his beard of 3 points and ornate finery. Karaq has 3 guardsmen with him. One is tall, well-muscled, and carrying a poleaxe. Another is short, barrel-chested, and holding a crossbow. The third is another Kashari, in fact, who appears to be wearing some sort of spiked gauntlets. Get on! The jailer prods Kaiamon forward with the head of a mace. Lord Karaq puts his hand on the pommel of his sword and says, Listen well, you sand lizards. We're going to have a talk, but not here. Try to make a run for it, and I'll feed you to my trolls, one limb at a time. The captors tie blindfolds over the Kashari's eyes, though they remove the gag from Kaiamon's mouth. The group walks for a time. At one point, the passage goes through a long stretch that smells of dung and echoes with strange grunts and growls. After descending a flight of stairs, the air turns acrid. Kaiamon's nose pricks and stings when he breathes. The guardsmen remove the blindfold. He finds himself along with his comrade, standing upon a ledge overlooking a mighty shaft that plummets down into a bubbling pit of acid. Now you shall see how merciful a death your other friend received, barks the Lord. That moment in time still stains Kaiamon's memory. He and Armazu had entered the palace with a third ally, Oberys. It was he who had gained the knowledge and the location of the Hand of Kebraseth. This relic was their prize. They had seized it for but a moment before the thralls of Karaq had fallen upon them and split Oberys' head in two.
Lord Karaq steps up to Armazu and grasps hold of him. How did you learn that the hand of Kebroseth is here?
I already tell you,
sputtered Armazu.
Oberis learned it, but he never tell us how.
Well, he's not going to do much talking now, so you're going to have to think very hard. Karaq forces Armazu back a step, right to the edge of the platform.
I think he pay information from someone in Shirakar, but I don't know who this is.
Kaiamon winces at the sight of his comrade, a mere inch from the drop-off.
He tells truth. Oberis not give us this name of who tell him about this palace.
Karaq gestures to his Kashari guardsman, who steps forward and grasps the cloth of Kaiamon's mantle. At this close distance, Kaiamon realizes the man is not wearing gauntlets. Those are his hands, hands of iron and spikes.
Oh!
I have no patience for this, shouts Lord Karaq. Why did you want the hand of Kebroseth? What good is that withered old thing to you?
It is relic from our land,
replies Armazu.
It worth much money. We are fools for this, I know. We do anything to make right with you.
His eyes are bulging from his face. Karaq studies the man in his grasp for a moment, then says, Liar. He pushes Armazu over the edge. Down and down he plummets, landing within a fuming pool of greenish liquid. Lord Karaq then comes to the side of the strange-faced Kashari, who grips Kaiamon with metal fists. You bear different markings than your two comrades. It is true, the blessed marks upon Kaiamon's face are not those of a common Kashari. He responds, They are the marks of a priest. A priest and a thief, and shit poor at both. One of the dungeon guards said you were muttering strange phrases in your hacking tongue, and he's been half mad with nightmares ever since. Karaq punches Kaiamon straight in the gut. Is that why you wanted Kebroseth's hand? What twisted religion do you practice in the shadows of your own temple? Kaiamon gasps for breath and manages to say, You don't know the danger you're in with that hand. Do you take me for a fool? I know what that hand is. It is precious to me as well, though my intentions don't involve whatever perversions you worship. Tell me, priest, where is the grave of Kebroseth? Kaiamon knows he could never betray this secret. He would die before giving it up. Tell me! The iron-clawed warrior pushes Kaiamon back. He feels his heels passing the lip of the platform. His heart is pounding in his ears. Tell me, damn you! Out of the colorless void of unconsciousness comes a dream. It is not a dream in full, but a dream in fragment. It is only a piece, a sliver, a hint of the life that once was. He feels a beam of golden sunlight splaying through the leaves of a palm tree. He smells the aroma of flowers and the scent of a woman's hair. He tastes the flavors of salt and smoked fish and spices. He hears the sweet voice of a girl and sees her standing next to her mother. What was her name? Greyspike sits up in his bed of woolen sheets over straw mattress. His cell is thick with shadows. Only a nub of flame burns in the lamp. Someone else is there. It is the woman with the silver mask. She speaks to him in his native tongue. Were you dreaming again, Grey Spike? I don't remember. Whatever fragments had been there were now slithered away. The woman's silver face stares at him. A weapon should not have dreams. But he senses something in her voice. Doubt, perhaps? I had a different life before here. How do you know this? I feel it when I sleep. Do you feel it now? Yes, but the Silver Lady's drink make it go away. Eumelia is my name. She raises the flame on the lamp and removes her mask. Her eyes are deep and colored like the sea. Grey Spike, do you understand that Lord Karaq makes me give you that drink? Grey Spike looks down at his hands. He knows that other people's hands are skin and flesh, soft. His are not like that. His are claws of iron and spikes for knuckles. The Lord is strong and wise. The Lord is protector of the land. We are lucky to serve him. The Lord is also mad. You do not understand now, though I can offer you a way. The Lord give Grey Spike life. A sadness passes over Eumelia's eyes. Grey Spike, you already had a life before all this. Karaq traded it for what you have now. What was that sensation? Like red heat in the face, like drums in the chest, like the urge to destroy something. Do you want to remember, Grey Spike? Do you want to remember the life before? To remember? This is a painful thing. The truth is pain. Life is pain. Do you want this? Yes. Good. I too must choose truth and life and freedom, though all of these are painful. I mean to free the prisoner, Grey Spike, the one who shares your southern blood. When I saw that mummified hand he and his comrades tried to steal, I knew I must have it. I felt its touch, even from across the room. I know it can help me heal my father. The prisoner knows about this hand. Tell Grey Spike the Silver Lady's wish. Eumelia produces a small flask from her apron and gives it to Grey Spike. Drink this and rest. Tomorrow night we shall enter the dungeon, quietly dispatch the jailer, and make our escape with the thief. Grey Spike drinks the fluid. Its taste is bittersweet. It reminds him of something he had tasted long ago. He lies back down, closes his eyes, and a dream washes over him. This time, it is not in fragment, but in full, with all the immediacy of beauty and agony. The pudgy-faced man whispers to Kaiamon from the neighboring cell. They said I was treating at a game of magicians, but I swear I wasn't. I was just using Swordarian rules. They's what I'm used to. You can't condemn a man for an honest slip of the mind. Kaiamon knows of this game called Magicians. It is an intricate gambling game that involves a special deck of cards. He has always avoided it due to the disagreements that always seem to crop up due to its complicated set of rules. He finds it hard to have sympathy for the other man, as his captors will probably throw him into the acid pits any time now.
Well, I hope they don't throw me in them pits. They wouldn't execute me just because someone says I cheated at cards. Would they?
Kaiamon tries to say quiet, but the gag muffles him.
I don't mean to be a bother. I tell you this, stranger. If we get out of here alive, we'll go to Dalsham. I have a cousin there who gave us shelter and hospitality. Might even take a ship to Wormrock. You ever been to Wormrock? It'll make this palace look no bigger than a shack.
A door squeals open, and in comes Eumelia the Alchemist and the warrior Greyspike. The jailer and the guardsman lift their heads from a dirty tabletop.
Eumelia, it's late. What do you want?
Hello, Gadram. I was just thinking about something that occurred quite a long while ago. Lord Karaq had grown tired of me as his bed slave, and he realized I would serve him better in the workshop. That first night I slept in my cell there, I received a certain visitor, a man with a terrible lust. Do you recall who he was?
That was many years ago.
Yes, but I remember the words quite well. Good thing Lord Karaq already broke you in, dear. I've been known to leave a girl unable to walk for days.
I know you enjoyed it.
You gave me quite a welcome to my new station. Though now, it is time to say goodbye. Greyspike,
Kill him! Gadram the jailer jerks out of his chair and backs up from the advancing Kashari warrior. The Kashari's right hand punches through Gadram's studded leather. His left hand shatters the man's teeth. The jailer falls to the ground, howling. With the last of his strength, he pulls the stopper from a flask. A piercing screech fills the air, as loud as a banshee's wail. The three combatants wince and grit their teeth against the ear-splitting alarm. The man in the cell, adjacent Kaiamon, plugs his fingers into his ears and groans. Before Turv can unsheath his falchion, Eumelia draws a flask, sealed in orange-red wax, and smashes it at the man's feet. A gout of fire rushes out. The guardsman is consumed in the flames. Greyspike stomps on the screeching flask, and it ends with an abrupt and acute squeal. The air is now filled with the shrieks of Turv burning.
all this damn noise!
Greyspike silences Turv with a swift blow to the head. Eumelia looks at the crushed remains of Gadram's alarm flask.
I've never heard such an alarm before. I don't know who it may have summoned. We must act quickly.
She takes the keyring from the fallen jailer, then goes to the cell front and peers through the iron slats in the middle of the door. Inside is a Kashari dressed in a flowing crimson mantle, with his hands bound and a cloth gagging his mouth.
Listen well, thief. You can remain in your cell until Karaq executes you, or you can follow me out of this place.
Kaiamon is elated. Not only does this woman in the silver mask offer freedom, but she speaks the tongue of the desert. He nods his head in agreement.
This will be an exchange. Your freedom will cost you your knowledge about that mummy's hand. It spoke silent promises to my heart the moment I laid eyes upon it. I want it. You must tell me where the hidden vault is. You must tell me everything about the hand.
She unlocks the cell door and removes the gag from Kaiamon's mouth. Kaiamon looks into the woman's shadowed eyes. They are blue, just as the gown she wears.
Is this a trick? Truly, you have killed the jailer and his comrade, so you must have no love for this Lord Karaq. And you command his thrall.
Kaiamon sees Greyspike, with his twisted and jaundiced skin, and his hands like living morning stars.
I will lead you to the vault. I will tell you what I know of the hand once we are free of this place.
What Kaiamon does not say is how he would never give the hand of Kebraseth to this woman. He means to keep it for his own. Eumelia senses that this robed Kashari is not being honest.
You will learn not to deceive me.
Greyspike, break his arm! The warrior takes hold of Kaiamon's arm, seizing with the strength of a vice. Kaiamon relives the terror he felt at the execution pit.
Wait! You need me alive and well! That alarm has roused the minions of your lord. Without the aid of my Arcana, you will both perish!
You bear a symbol of the divine voice, yet you speak of sorcery. Whom do you serve, Southron?
I serve two masters, and the greater of these is Kebraseth, king of the sunken pyramid. It is his hand that you glimpsed.
Then swear to your lord Kebraseth that I, Eumelia the Alchemist, shall bear his hand.
So long as I may be your advisor, I swear by Kebraseth, you shall be the bearer of his lost hand.
Very well. Greyspike, free him.
Greyspike breaks the bonds from Kaiamon's wrists. They then collect his personal effects from the vault at the end of the hall. Kaiamon advises that the hidden vault is located within the workshop, though its entry requires a key that is protected within the eastern guard post. As the party heads towards the eastern door, the pudgy-faced prisoner sticks his nose through the slats in his cell door.
Please, let me out! I didn't cheat at cards, I swear! I can't fester away in this cell. I'll help you as best I can.
The party decides over the man. Eumelia wants to free him. Greyspike says to leave him, as he'll only get in the way. Kaiamon says free him, and use him to test the way ahead for dangers. Eumelia convinces her comrades that this man ought to have his own chance at freedom, and she is not callous enough to force him to take the lead in their flight.
100 thanks! My name is Axel.
Using the jailer's keyring once again, Eumelia opens the eastern door of the dungeon. A short corridor leads them into the bestiary. Thick iron bars line the fronts of cages on the right-hand side of the room. The air is thick with the scents of dung, fur, and other odors. The party spots a guardsman lurking at the far end of the room. Axel waits to see what is happening. Upon being spotted, the guardsman flees. He shouts as he runs, "Prison break! Betrayers! They're coming!" There is a sound of chains and heavy movement. The iron bars of the cage fronts raise up. Greyspike shouts,
"Fall back, the cages are open."
Eumelia replies, "I can feel this place with a fog. We can slip past them." Kaiamon says,
These are savage creatures. We can turn them against each other.